Okay. All right. So let's see this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So density. All right. So density is the amount of matter per unit volume. So mass, right, is usually expressed in grams of volume. What is volume usually expressed in?
Um, so
Twenty
where is the cube?
centimeter cube.
Centimeter cube. I said grams here. This should be kilograms. I'm sorry, I'm not using my stylus. I'm using my touchpad. So please bear with me. Alright, so kilograms and centimeter cubes or milliliters. So you'll find out that centimeter cubes, 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 milliliter. All right, 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 milliliters. All right, so density, the amount of matter per unit volume. All right, so density is a measure of the compactness of a material. All right, so how close the atoms or molecules are to each other. Like, can I get an example? For example, which one would have the higher density? A um a steel ball or let me say a steel ball or a foam. You know the foam, the white foam. Which one have the
I
higher
say
density?
popcorn something like
The cube also.
cherry ball.
Exactly. So the ball would have a much higher density because the atoms and the molecules are much closer together. So more than heaviness, density includes how much space basically an object takes up, right? So all substances have density including liquid, solids, and gases. So ice is less dense than water, which is why lakes and ponds have a thin layer of ice covering in the winter. All right, so you might watch movies and you see people skating on the water, but this unlucky guy just tries to walk on the water and the ice breaks and he falls below. Right, that is because ice is much less dense than water, right? And you'll find out that at the this could be the surface of the water, right? And you have ice here. Let's say you have ice here. This is ice. You will find out that fishes, right? Fishes can still survive down here. Fishes can are still able to survive down here because of this layer of ice, much less dense, right? And the temperatures will be different, of course, for the fish, but you'll find out that they are able to live much deeper below the surface of the water. All right, so in winter, fishes don't die; they still can survive underwater. So various rocks, wood, and metals have a characteristic density specific to that substance. So you can use a random material, right, and you don't know what it is, but you can find the density of it, right, and then you should be able to have an idea of what exactly it is. All right. So as you said, um, ice is much less dense than water. You'll find that ice, of course, floats on top of water. All right. So for regular shapes, right? For regular shapes, The mass and the volume um, can be determined from the formula. And I will attach some of the formulas for finding the volume. If we forget, I will attach them for next class. But for today, we want to um, go back to this formula here. So density is equal to our mass, or the mass of the object, over volume. That's what density is equal to. So the mass of the object over volume. And we will pause here for today. And you'll use the last 20 minutes to just complete two questions on density. All right? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, make sure manageable, sir, because me not understand most things in your class.
And this is
Renika.
Renika.
Yes, sir.
Before I move on to anything, I always ensure I ask if you're understanding.
Sir, me never your ear, sir, okay? You drop your voice every time you talk.
So you indicate that you're not hearing me.
But sometimes you tell us and you know make it better.
All right. What do I do here? All right. Let me just answer Johnson first. I saw that Johnson raised their hand.
Sorry, I want to ask mom.
Go again.
Don't want to ask him.
You don't want to ask here?
Sir, I said I don't want to ask anything.
Okay. Okay. Um. What exactly are you not understanding? I believe it was Johnson.
So, Tamika, you working at it?
Working out.
Yes, finally. So, me see right there, in a class me understanding, but when I make one test, it just, I don't understand what happened with the test.
Because you have to read over. When I give you the notes, read over it and work over the questions that I will do.
But
Simple.
sir, we have to understand, sir, we understand, sir, we have to use the online platform, sir, but most subjects, sir, like these science subjects, sir, them cannot teach online, sir, because it's very stressing, sir, and like the working out, sir, is very confusing. This means that we get and like we give a test, sir, it just lasts and you give like with a time for the test, sir, so it was very confusing. Very confusing.
Anyone else share this the same sentiment? Anyone else having this problem? All right. Okay. So before I give you the activity, because I was going to give an activity for density, very easy. But let's work to one quickly here. All right. So density. Say we have a mass of um. So M, as I said, I don't have my stylus, so my handwriting is not the best today. Of 2 kilograms. 2 kilograms. And V is equal to, let's say the volume of the object is 0.5, 0.5 centimeter cubes. How do we find density?
Divide. Then I said 2
Divide
over 0.5.
Exactly. So 2 over 0.5,
Or
right? So we get 4 there. So 2 divided by 0.5 root is equal to 4. And what is our unit again?
kg.
Milliliter.
No. Milliliter is
Right.
for volume, right?
Kilogram centimeter cube.
Alright, so kilogram per centimeter cube. This, whenever we see this, per, means that it is being divided per. Alright? Whenever we see the slash here or a negative 3, so this could have also been written as kg centimeter negative 3, right? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Mhm. Before I move on, Johnson, does that make sense? All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Great. All right. So we said that the unit for this should be kg centimeter negative 2. All right.
Sir,
Question
will you be revising on Wednesday?
on Wednesday. Revising for your exam.
Yes, sir.
No,
Sure,
we'll be finishing
that.
up density today. We'll be
Sir?
finishing up density on Wednesday. So we'll finish up density, and then next week, hopefully Monday, we can do revision.
Okay.
So, sir, for the formula, you can write it either way. You write, or you could just writing it using negative two.
I am not hearing that. You want to go ahead and repeat again?
I'm asking that if you can write the formula either way, or you could just write it with the negative.
If I could write it another way,
No, sir, I'm asking if we can write it both ways, or we should just write it with the negative two instead.
yeah, you could write it, or the unit here.
Yes,
Yeah, you can write it either kg per with the slash here, cm, or you could write it with a negative 3. Anyone is fine.
okay.
All right, so say we had another object with a density of, let's say, density of 1000. 1000, I wish I had my stylus. Moving really slowly, but what time is it? Alright, so kg cm minus 3. Right, and this particular object, right, had a mass of say 10 10 kilograms, mass of 10 kilograms, right? What was the volume of this object? What is the value? How will we go about finding the volume of this object?
Finding the volume, sir.
Sir,
And
Right?
multiply.
you will divide 10 into the density, sir.
Alright. 10 into the density. Alright, I see where we're going, but let's start. Let's
I
go slow.
multiply, I mean, I don't know.
Alright, so we want volume on one side. What's the next step? Where would we go from here if we want volume on one side? So let me start. Whenever we see the volume being divided down here, please pay attention to this. Right? Whenever we see the volume down here, or we want this particular value when transposing, we multiply first. We multiply both sides by volume, right? Multiply both sides by volume, right? When that happens, we'll end up with something like m equal density ah, times v, right? Then what will we do next? After this, we want volume alone on one side.
I'm thinking
Sir,
about P. Look at
Go
P.
again.
M.
Repeat that again.
Oh,
Put the P over the M.
Put the
Over the
p over the m. No,
divide
Me say what?
right.
put them over what? V, sir?
Say about divide the
We just want
volume by
v. So
sides.
therefore, we will try and get rid of this right here, right? This density. I want to get rid of this, right? Right?
yes.
Yes.
Yes,
No.
sir.
Exactly. So we would go ahead and divide both sides by density. Divide both sides by density, and then these would cancel. Right? Agreed?
Yes, sir.
These would cancel, and then that would leave us with V equal to what?
And
Mass over
100.
exactly.
Like 100.
So, what would be our final volume now?
100. 100. I don't know.
Right? So, what is the mass?
10, sir.
10. And what is our density?
1000.
1000.
What is our final answer?
100.
100.
Are you sure? Want to use the calculator?
0.01.
0.01.
Right.
0.01.
0.01 books, right? 0.01
No,
books.
no. It's
0.01 what?
different.
kilogram, sir.
Centimeter.
Kilogram?
Centimeter cube.
Right. So we're trying to find the volume. So therefore it would be 0.01 centimeter cubes.
Oh,
Alright?
Yes, sir.
Is this clear?
yes, sir.
That's
No.
the way you used to find the master, right?
We were given the
No,
mass.
sir.
So we had a mass of 10 kilograms.
Sir, may I say for you given the volume alone, sir, and the density, sir.
Right. We could find the
How you
mass.
understand?
We could find the mass.
Oh.
Mm.
Sir, may I get
And who is this? Who didn't get it? Who didn't get it? Um, Renika? You didn't get it?
I never meet, sir.
The other person, could you tell me,
Sir is I think it's Virgo, sir.
Virgo? Virgo, you understand?
no, sir.
Where you don't understand?
Sir, we put up here so we'll times both side by V.
Okay, so transposition, right? I'll find the empty space again. All right. No problem. Um, Let me get an empty space or empty slide to show you. All right. So the formula for density is rho or density equal mass over volume. All right. To find the mass, say you want to find the mass. How would you go about doing that?
So
So
let's say,
What a divide.
oh,
no, you want to get rid of the v. So we want mass only on one side. So the quickest way to get mass on one side would be to get rid of the v, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So good. What would you do?
Divide both sides by V.
Divide. No. Remember that v is being divided right now.
Multiply.
third
Right.
times.
Exactly. So you multiply both sides by v.
So you can work on the number, sir, instead of letter.
It is best to use the symbols first. If you use the numbers, it will be confusing. Trust me. All right. So you can say v, these two cancel, right? This v and this v cancels.
Yes, sir.
So this v goes away, and then this v goes away as well. So we're left with what exactly? What are we left with?
So you're left with
Times
something but like me not even know V or
PV equal MV.
M
All right.
equal no
M equal.
M equal um
V over V.
V over P
Remember that the density is multiplied by v.
V
over
equal
So M
equal
equal
P over V.
is multiplied here.
Where you going?
MP density equal
V
M.
times
All right. So we want to find M. That's what we're trying to find. So mass, and we multiply both sides by v. This v cancelled with this v, and we're left with what exactly? What is this?
P
Sir,
times
with a
V.
M equal P times V.
All right.
Oh
So
no, P equal
density,
M or M equal P.
density times
Volume.
volume. So are we all seeing that?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
All right. Anyone not seeing that? Okay. Good. So we want to get v this time. I want to get v on one side, right? So the quickest way to get v on one side, right? We um we will multiply is to bring it over here. All right. It's a quick way, a trick. Switch these. That's the quickest way. Switch the density and the volume. So switch their places. So you do something like this. That's the quickest way to transpose when it looks something like this. Switch them. So what would we have?
V equals
L
M
equal
over
um
V.
P over V.
No, not really. Remember that we're switching these two.
V
Sir, V
equals
equal M over P.
All right. So V. equal
M over
m
P.
over density. All right, and we don't call this really p. We call it rho. It is a Greek letter. All right, it's not
What
p.
now?
It is called rho. Rho. All right, it's a Greek letter. So we usually just say density, right? Whenever we see this is density. So m over rho or m over density. All right. So whenever we see something looking like this, all you have to do is switch them. To switch
Sorry, so
the
make
rho
anybody
and
with
the
the
v.
first one. So
Go again.
anybody with the first one.
All right. So the reason why was because I wanted to ensure that I explained it and I saw where you weren't really understanding the whole process. So I just provided this. All right. It's the same thing you're going to end up with. V equal m over density is here. End up with the same thing. But I wanted to try and explain. It is better to understand the entire process. That's what I'm trying to get here.
Sir, can you put it back to the next slide, please?
All right. So are we clear?
Yes.
Anyone not clear? Remember that this will be posted on Google Classroom. All right. Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as you might have been aware already, your exam is begin next week Friday. I am awaiting the timetable for physics grade 10. So I hope to get that soon.
Sir, repeat what is it, please?
Right, so I said your exams start next week Friday. Or exams for the entire school start next week Friday. So I hope to get the timetable soon. So in the meantime, go over the notes. If you need to, go over the videos. All right.
Sure, sure.
Any questions before we go?
Sir, you post the video them in a Google Classroom.
Yes, most of them. Some of them I sometimes I lose them because while converting there's some kind of error or something comes up. But most of them are posted. All right. Go over significant figures that we did last week. Go over it. I'll post some practice questions next class, or I should give you them for next class. Yeah. So they are due at the end of next class. I won't have class for the entire day on Wednesday. For the entire class on Wednesday, just probably the first 20 minutes or so to explain the next section. So I will post the homework for significant figures and density, and that will be due at the end of the day on Wednesday. All right.
Sir, when it due?
The end of the class on Wednesday. You will
Thank
get
you.
the class. You'll get most of the class to complete it. But I will post it from now so that you can do it if you want from now. All right.
Okay, sir.
All the best, everyone.
Sir, stop the recording.
And, stop recording.